Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast by Rom Wills. Don't dwell on failure. You know what? Something I see a lot with people. They fail. And they just not only fail, but they stay there. You know, I always remember what a freshman football coach said to me. Well, said to the group at a freshman football tryout. It's okay to fall. Just don't stay on the ground. But that's what a lot of people do. They stay on the ground. They fall and they stay there. They fail. And then, you know, sometimes they'll get up a little bit, then they'll fail again. And then they'll, try to pick themselves up. They'll fall again. And then they just remain there. And then they get to a point that they get scared to try anything. Or worse, they get to a point where they keep falling and they use it as a way of power. You know, they play the victim. You get a lot of people like that. They'll dwell on their failures or, because of their failures, they'll play victim and get sympathy from people and try to stay there. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Because like I said, everybody fails. Shoot, I got enough failures to fill a book up. And I'm proud of each and every one. Because the thing when you fall, you learn to get back up. You learn to stand back up. And you're supposed to learn from the negative experiences. You're supposed to learn. Because a failure will teach you not to do something a certain way. It can even be in your vocation or what you feel your purpose is in life. It can even be there. You know, you could feel like just even in what I do now. I always go over my tapes, podcasts, blogs, and I was like, okay, I could have written that a different way. I could have did that. Could have edited that a different way, or I could have just left that out. I look at everything. I look at every single failure and learn from it. And that's what they are. They learning experiences. You can't learn to do something unless you fail at it. Because you learn not to do it. But see, some people, they fall at something and they keep doing it and they get depressed. And I'm going to tell you something. Let me just make a disclaimer. This is not medical advice that I'm about to give. But people have to learn from depression. People get depressed because they keep doing the same thing over and over. Right? They keep doing it. And this is a lay opinion. They keep doing it and can't figure out a way out of it. Or they dwelling in the past. They dwelling on that failure. They were like, oh, I failed with that relationship 10 years ago. Okay, fine. What did you learn from it? 1, 2, what you been doing ever since? And, 3, why do you keep making the same mistake over and over? Because here's the problem. A lot of people, a lot of people, they do get hurt by failure. They do get hurt. They put a lot into something, then they fail at it. All right? But, you know what? It's still a victory that you even did it to begin with. I'm going to tell you what. As people know, I've had 1,001 jobs. And I've had some sales jobs. And then with all of my books, I've had to sell them to people. I would say, if I'm vending, if I sell 30 books, say I sell 30 books to 30 individuals, right? And that's a pretty good day. It's pretty good chunk of money. But 100 people stop by my table. That means I failed 70 times. Now, do I dwell on the 70 that didn't buy the books, or do I focus on the 30 who did? You look at baseball. If someone were to hit, say, 350. 350 out of 1,000%, right? If they were to hit that much, they would get multi-million-dollar contracts. Everybody, you know, we have this basketball tournament going on now, the March Madness. And you have some superstar players, they'll go on. You got some guys who will be NBA All-Stars. Yet all these superstars, none of them hit every shot. And there's often, and I've seen this often, superstar players who play poorly in a big game. And I've seen it a lot. But do they dwell on that? No, they look at it, they learn from it, and they move on. You know? But see, when people dwell on it, that creates depression. You know? And they get sad, and then the thing is, they dwell on it so much, they really don't learn it. And it's the saddest thing. It was like, okay, yeah, that relationship went bad. Yeah, that business deal didn't go through. Yeah, that business failed. Yes, you got fired from that job. Yes, you got written up on that job. Yes, you know what? Yes, you good at the gym. You couldn't lift 300 pounds. You know? Yes, you couldn't get that, you know, that real attractive person to notice you. Yes, that real attractive person that did notice you dumped you. Okay. It's called life. And you learn from it. You figure from it. You know what? I remember years ago, met a woman who, you know, she met me while I was with someone, right? And, you know, I ain't gonna lie, Rom got dumped, right? But this woman, and she was able to see me while I was in a relationship, while I was recovering from the relationship, and how I moved on to the next one. And she said, you know what, Rom, I noticed something. When something bad happens with you, you learn from it. You figure it out, and you say, okay, I won't do that again. Because you can't dwell on it. It's just like if you playing a sport, you miss that shot. You don't be like, oh, I missed that shot and all of that. No. In the context of a game, you just got to come back and keep shooting. You know? If you playing football, like a good position in football, they get burned. You have superstars who get burned like cornerbacks. You know what? They just gave up a long pass to some guy, like just ran away from him. They don't dwell on that. It's like, okay, next play. You have to keep moving on. You have to learn and keep moving on. Now, I know some people, they'll say, well, I keep running into constant failure. Okay, stop then. Only thing all those failures have in common is you. So what do? You sit back and be honest with yourself and say, well, okay, how come I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again that's bringing this same result? And I guarantee, I will guarantee, if you start changing some things, you will get different results. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science, you know. So, you know what? I'm saying it like this. Let me close this out. You know what? Falling is okay. Falling is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You pick yourself up. You figure out why you fail. You figure out what works, what didn't work. Right? Then you move on. You don't dwell on it. It happened. It happened. You know? People know me for talking about relationships, giving relationship advice to men. You know, I know what I know because of failing. I know what I know, and I embrace it. You know? I embrace it. Any successful person embraces it because they learn from it. And then I can teach it to others, and I can say, okay, you don't need to do this, you know, because I've already been through it. In fact, a very wise man, very wise mentor said to me, and I've had a lot of mentors. He said you can actually learn something from somebody who failed at it because they can tell you how not to fail at it. They can, and so it's a learning thing. You don't dwell on it. You learn on it, and then you move on. You know, if you that basketball player and you miss some shots, hey, you might have to change your release or something like that. You learn from it, then you move on. And if you know, and just on an overall thing, regardless of it, failure is supposed to happen in life. That's the only way you can evolve. That's the only way you can get better. You know, It's easy to like coast on when stuff is winning. When you winning, stuff it's good for you. You know, it feels good. It ain't bad for you, but it feels good to keep constantly win. But then when you lose, that's when you really find out what's up. That's when you get exposed, and that's when you learn. So anyway, as always, keep rising and transforming. Peace and blessings.